24-7, my friend. That was the score the Eagles brought home from Baltimore on Saturday night. But the number that really hurts is not that one. It is 159. That was everything Philadelphia's offense managed to produce in total yardage across the entire night against 440 for the other side. 6 first downs against 31. 10 penalties against 3. And buried in the middle of all that mud, there was a competition that should have been settled right there on that field, the most important battle on the roster after the starting job itself. 2 quarterbacks had the chance to end it, on camera, in front of everybody. Neither one of them ended it. And to complete the irony, the only man who put points on the board that night is not even part of the competition. The truth is that the statement the head coach gave after the game says more about how this battle ends than any statistic from Saturday, and it is a sentence nobody is reading carefully enough. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now, because the cut down to 53 players is coming, and this decision will determine who holds the entire team together if the worst happens to Jalen Hurts. Let us set the scene. Jalen Hurts did not play. Not a single offensive starter played. The game plan was deliberately basic, revealing nothing of Sean Mannion's new system. The official Week 1 depth chart listed both backups tied at the number 2 spot, with no defined hierarchy. But in football, there is a language that never shows up on paper. Who takes the first snap? And the man who walked onto that field with the ball in his hands on Philadelphia's opening offensive drive of the 2026 preseason was Andy Dalton. And it was ugly. While Dalton was on the field, Philadelphia's offense ran 9 plays, gained 12 yards, and punted 3 times. 3 drives, 3 punts, not a single first down. He finished the night 3 of 6 passing for 20 yards and a passer rating of 57.6. And he had one moment that nearly turned into a disaster. A short, low throw to Tank. Bigsby bounced off the running back's hands and was intercepted by the Ravens' defense with a clear path to the end zone. The review wiped the play out because the ball touched the grass first. In other words, the veteran escaped a pick 6 by a matter of inches and replay technology. At 38 years old, arriving from a quiet stint in Carolina where he accumulated 293 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception across 4 appearances, Dalton had Saturday as his chance to show that experience still outweighs age. He did not show it. The other side of that coin entered the game on the 4th offensive drive and stayed in through the 3rd quarter. Tanner McKee. And here we need to separate things honestly, because the raw statistic is misleading on its own. McKee finished 6 of 10 passing for 35 yards and a passer rating of 66.7. Numerically better than Dalton, except that he operated behind a completely reshuffled offensive line, with John Ojukwu, Micah Morris, Jake Majors, Willie Lampkin, and Markel Bell, and with 3rd-string receivers. He took a sack. He had a throw bounce off a receiver's hands. And the only decent first down of the night came from a 13-yard connection between him and Darius Cooper. Was it better? It was. Was it enough to win a competition? Not even close. Bleeding Green Nation summed it up with a line that hurts precisely because it is accurate. The game reflected exactly what training camp has been showing, which is no real separation between the two. And then came the press conference. Nick Sirianni was asked about the battle, and his answer deserves to be dissected word by word. He said nothing is decided. He said Andy has played a lot of football in his life, and that he believes the veteran has more than 160 starts. He said Tanner has had 2 starts, and he said he wanted to make sure Tanner keeps developing in live action, while Andy, who has had plenty of live action already, also needed some snaps. Sirianni also confirmed that Dalton was told he would start Saturday's game, and told as well that the order could change the following weekend. Now pay attention to what is hidden inside that answer. When a head coach needs to justify a decision by citing 160 starts against 2, he is not describing a balanced competition. He is publicly laying the foundation of an argument. Experience is the one variable where Dalton wins in a landslide, and experience is exactly the variable the head coach chose to say out loud in front of the microphones. At the same time, he used the verb develop when talking about McKee. Develop is not the verb you use for a man about to take over a job. It is the verb you use for a man still being formed. Sirianni may simply be being transparent. Or he may be preparing this fan base for a decision this fan base is not going to enjoy hearing. And that is where the name that transforms this entire story comes in. Cole Payton. The rookie was the only Eagles quarterback to lead a scoring drive in that stadium. Late in the fourth quarter, with the game already decided and the last names on the roster on the field, Payton commanded the only offensive possession that ended in a touchdown, on a throw to Eric Ezukanma. Before that, Philadelphia's offense had gained 100 yards across 31 plays. 100 yards in 31 plays. It took the third quarterback in line, facing the Ravens' third-string defense, for the scoreboard to finally move. No, that does not mean Payton should be the number 2. It means something else, and it is uncomfortable. Neither Dalton nor McKee managed to produce against opposition any better than what the rookie faced. When the only positive from your offensive night comes from the guy who is not even in the race itself becomes an even bigger question. The weight of all this sits in Philadelphia's recent history. Jalen Hurts has needed his backups in 3 of his last 4 seasons as the starter. That is not a remote hypothetical or fan pessimism, it is a statistical pattern. The number 2 quarterback job with the Eagles has historically not been decorative. It decides games, and it has decided playoff seeding. Getting this spot wrong in 2026 could be the difference between a first-round bye and a January road trip. And the next chance to settle it comes on Saturday, the 22nd, in New England, with 2 joint practices against the Patriots before the game. And that is exactly why we need to be fair and transparent here. First, this was preseason, with a deliberately basic game plan, no offensive starters on the field, and improvised offensive lines on both rotations. Judging a quarterback under those conditions is like judging a pilot by the parking spot he chose. The context is too poor for definitive conclusions. Second, McKee did not get the same support Dalton got. The veteran opened with the second unit, while the younger man worked mostly with the third. If you normalize the circumstances, his numbers come out more favorable than the raw comparison suggests. Anyone judging this purely by the box score is judging it wrong. Third, there is a legitimate counter-argument in Dalton's favor that goes beyond age. Pocket quarterback systems demand quick reads and early decisions, and he has spent nearly 2 decades doing exactly that. In an emergency situation, in Week 4, with no time to prepare, accumulated experience carries real value that no preseason spreadsheet captures. And fourth, Sirianni explicitly said nothing is decided and that the order can change. That may be complete sincerity. Elite teams frequently leave competitions open until the final cut precisely to extract the maximum from both sides. Assuming the decision is already made based on one sentence in a press conference is rushed analysis. So the question I leave with you, Eagles fan, comes in 3 parts. First, after watching that game, do you believe Andy Dalton moved ahead on merit, or only because the head coach values 160 starts above anything that could happen in August? Second, if Tanner McKee does not win this battle by the final cut, would you rather Philadelphia trade him for a third-day pick or carry 3 quarterbacks on the roster? And third, would you trust your entire season to either one of these 2 if Jalen Hurts went down injured in Week 3? Leave your opinion in the comments. Do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be back later to update you with the latest Eagles news.